sing till earth in heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the presence has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chasing run, felt in the day that hope unborn had died, yet with the steady beat I have not on weary feet come to a place for which our Father sighed. We have come over the way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out of the gloomy past year, now we stand at last with the white gleam of the bright star is cast. God of all wearies, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on thy way, thou hast by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path that we pray. Let's not fear, stray from the places of God where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy till now we stand at last, true to our God, true to our native land.
I feel like we just came from church right there. Hey man, amen. Well, thank you so much for rendering. Everybody who's watching, thank you so much. You have just heard from the lovely voice of Miss Shireen Callister, season 14 contestant on The Voice, and as y'all can tell, she definitely has voice. Man, thank you so much. Hey, thanks, Shireen. We'll see. You'll be back next week to get us another one, right?
Yes, I will. You gotta stay tuned.
All right. Hey, we'll see you next week. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye. Hey man, listen, that for the whole month of February we're kicking off with with a song from the great Miss Shireen Callister. Like I can't even tell y'all how awesome that is and how amazing it is. So welcome to our second week of our Black History Month programming. I am Rev Rob Johnson, and I'm here today because today we're talking about Black History Today. We're talking about last week, y'all remember we talked about entrepreneurs. And we said, what will Black history say about you in 2021 and 2021 and 2030 and 2040 and in 2050? What will Black history say about you? Well, today we have a history maker himself that is gracing us with his presence on Valentine's Day. He is gracing us with his presence today to hang out with us and give and drop some gems and some knowledge on you all. And I'm super excited. Let me read you his bio because I've known him for quite some time since I was in high school. I've known this man since I was in high school. And let me tell you all, he is true to his word. When he says he's going to do something, he delivers every single time. I've known him since I've been in high school. I've known him all throughout my college career at Drake University here in Des Moines, Iowa. And this man has definitely been an inspiration of me. But let me give you a little bit of his bio real quick, and then we'll go ahead on and bring him on. Mr. Louis Carr has been with BET Networks for 35 years, serving as president of media sales for the last 19 years. During his tenure with the company, Mr. Carr has transformed the multicultural space for some of the world's biggest brands. Just to give you a few of these is Procter & Gamble, McDonald's, Facebook, Apple, GM. Mr. Carr continues to live by the mantra that he is driven by the data. As a matter of fact, he says, be led by the data and insights. And it is because of this man's insights that the network, BET, has the largest repository of information on Black consumers than any other media group worldwide. His understanding of this data has inspired him to create content and messages that help markets sell products and services and help them become great corporate citizens. In addition to his corporate career, because you all know we always talk about what are we doing in the community. In addition to Mr. Carr's corporate career, let me tell you all, this man's professional career has been stellar, but he has also had a long-term commitment to young people in the community, and I'm attest to this. Mr. Carr founded Louis Carr Internship Foundation 17 years ago to help improve diversity in corporate America through paid internships. The foundation has provided over 178 paid internships in which 45 alumni now have full-time jobs within the industry. He also created the Blueprint Men's Summit, which brings together some of Black America's high-profile thought leaders to educate Black men in areas of finance, health, careers, relationship, and entrepreneurs. Let me tell you, also, staying true to his commitment of giving back, Mr. Carr, his latest brand he has just launched called Waymaker. Let me tell you, you know what? I'm not going to tell you right now. I'm going to get into it here in just a bit. Let me finish telling you a little bit more about him. Mr. Carr has also authored 2 books, Dirty Little Secrets and Little Black Book, Daily Motivations for Business and Professional Business and Personal Growth. He openly lays out his blueprint to greatness, covering much needed topics like leadership, culture, strategy, vision, success, and diversity. He currently serves on the United States Track and Field Foundation Board, the Cedar Fair's Board of Directors, Drake University's Board of Trustees, and Chicago State University's Board of Trustees. Mr. Carr attended Drake University on a full athletic scholarship and received a BA in broadcast journalism. He has been happily married for 34 years. For more info, I'm not even going to give that to y'all. I'm going to give that to y'all at the end. But check out Mr. Carr on all of his social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at I am Louis Carr. I am Louis Carr. And without further ado, please welcome one of my inspirations, one of my mentors, BET's very own, Mr. Louis Carr. President Carr. How are you, sir? How you
Good
doing?
evening, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Now, man, you gonna owe me, right? This is Valentine's Day. Could nobody believe that I'm doing this on Valentine's Day? Even my wife was like, "You doing what?" So you owe me, baby.
Listen, I do. I'm not even gonna lie. When we first discussed this, and I said Valentine's Day, I was like, and then you was like, "All right, I'll give it a try." I was like, "Woo!"
Well, I figured, we're in a pandemic. I wouldn't be out, at a restaurant or some other place during this time. So we just delayed dinner for about an hour for you.
Hey, look, tell Mrs. Carr I said thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. And look, if I'm gonna send a card over just to say thank you, So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that afterwards. But Mr. Carr, real quick before we jump into it, we're talking about Black History today. You, sir, are truly a history maker. You are Black history, and I know you are a humble guy, and you really take a lot of this stuff in strides, and you take on a lot, and you do a lot, and people don't know even everything that you do. But I know you from even when I was in high school. You came up to me in high school and inspired me in high school, and you was like you literally walked up to me in the middle of the hotel lobby after I had got done speaking, and you said, "Where are you going to college?" I said, "I don't know yet." You said, "Have you thought about Drake University?" I said, "I'm not sure." I had no idea who you were. I had no idea of anything, but you handed me your business card, like not your assistant's card, not anybody. You said, "I need you to stay in touch with me and call me," and I did just that. And look at us now here years later, continuing on this process, and you continuing to give inspiration. Before we jump in it, I just gotta ask you. Let's start from the beginning. Tell us about Mr. Lewis Carr. Like, where did it all begin?
Well, I think, Reverend Rob, it began on the west side of Chicago in very humble beginnings. And but I didn't know they were humble beginnings because everything I saw and everything I did and everybody I engaged with had the same thing I had.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably was the guy that would wanted to fight you if you had told me I was poor. I really didn't realize I was poor till I got to Drake University, and I'm like, I'm poor. I'm real poor because everybody I knew had no more or no less than what I had.
Right.
So I was probably would be described as a happy poor kid. And I happened to be blessed by being a great athlete. And I say great because I guess that not too many people end up being an All-American. So that status got me an opportunity to go to college for free. And something that I'll never, ever forget. I had not planned on going to Drake. I had offers from a number of schools all across the country. And then I got hurt. And all those scholarship offers went away. I had a friend by the name of Phil Ferguson who him and his brother were still at Drake. And Phil went to the track coach, Ed Earhart at that time, and asked, was there another scholarship available for a friend of his? And the coach, when he came to my house, he said, I'd never heard of you. I must have been living in a cave.
Wow.
But he did pull every article that had been written about me. And he spoke to every reporter who had wrote those articles. And they told him, if you're going to take a chance on a guy, take a chance on this guy. So that's how I ended up at Drake University and had an amazing time at Drake. And from when I left Drake, my professional career started.
Mr. Carr, people will look at you and they'll say, you know what, he's been with BET for 30 plus years.
They'll say I'm old, Rob. That's what they'll say. They'll say he's really old.
They'll say, they'll say he's been married for 34 years. They'll say he went to Drake University on a full ride scholarship. What they won't talk about, though, are some of the struggles that you've had as culture has transcended, as culture has changed, as cancel culture has come in, as social media has evolved, and you've had to maintain what you've gained out of all of these years and experiences. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the struggles you've had as you've come to where you are now?
Well, I would like to put it like this. In the scheme of things, probably my struggles have been small. I've been blessed with the attitude to be flexible, reinvent yourself, stay on the cutting edge. As you could guess, I'm a guy who accepts change and probably embraces and likes change. So as things evolved, I never talked about the good old days. I like to say, Rev Rob, I look through the windshield. I don't use the rearview mirror a lot. All right. I may check the sides mirrors every now and then, but right. I'm looking through the front windshield and trying to deal with what's in front of me, not what's behind me.
That's a really good point, because it all speaks to like our attitude of today. Because a lot of young people today, I mean, you blow on them wrong, it's like a whole catastrophic thing that took place, right? A lot of young people today, and even my age group, that attitude of I'm not going to let anything stop me from doing what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it happen regardless. I feel like that's like a dying breed right now. Like,
well, I don't know if it's from athletics for me or what. I just want to win. I just want to win. So I spent a lot of time trying to understand the game and the rules of the game and whatever that environment is. Yeah. And then once I get it, I'm going after the win. I'm going hard. So, and a lot of times it's difficult because anytime you have to learn new rules, anytime things change, anytime you have to reinvent yourself, anytime you have to be flexible, it's a little difficult, but I keep my eye on the prize because I just want to win.
That is something that I think is missing sometimes. Is I don't necessarily know if people want to win. I think they just want to maintain, right? They just want to stay static.
Well, I don't think there's no such thing. If you maintain.
I like that. I like that.
People who say that they're maintaining, they may think they're maintaining, but when they'll wake up and look around and the world has moved on without them. So that's losing.
Wow.
So, I'm not trying to maintain. I am trying to progress and, continually to learn and stay engaged and be on the cutting edge. So, I'm trying to win.
I don't blame you. Look, I'm right there with you. With all of the work that we've, even when I called you when I was at Drake University, you had this exact same mentality years ago when you and I were on the phone years ago. I think it was back in like 2009 we were on the phone, and you was like, look, I'm not trying to hear these sob stories. Like, get out there, do what you need to do, and make it happen. Like let's go. There's nothing else, Rob, that I want to hear. And I'm like, all right, like, forget it then. Let's go to work. Like, let's get the job done.
Absolutely.
And so, speaking of that, I myself have had the benefit of knowing you for 15 years now. And I am just, You have been a blessing in my life for these last 15 years. I've watched you. We've had multiple conversations. You've inspired me to keep going. You've pushed me to keep going. And I'm just super excited for where we are now. And you have a heart for mentoring. Um, Tell us a little bit about those programs and kind of where did that come from? Because I'll be honest, it's tough sometimes, but you continue to pour out and you continue to do what you can to bring others up with you. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, throughout my life, I've been confused by why so many people helped me. Whether it was Phil Ferguson helped me get into Drake University after I had a injury and scholarships from other schools that went away, or whether it was coaches who believed in me before I believed in myself, or whether it's professors or neighbors or friends who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. I've been confused by that. Just been confused. As I sort of matured and aged, I realized it was all God's plan. But why certain people were inserted in my life and inserted in these situations. I was telling someone the other day, at my mother's burial, there was a guy who not only came to the funeral, but came to the cemetery, and it was -2 degrees on a sunny -2 degrees with a wind chill of about -17. So, most people, as you know, Reverend Rob, they'll come to that funeral, but very few going to go that last mile of the way. And I was looking at this guy trying to understand, because I didn't know him that well, why on one of the coldest days of the year, he came the last mile of the way. So when I look at my life, there's so many people who have stretched and made exceptions and did more than I could even imagine. And most of them I didn't even ask. So as I consistently say, I'm trying to pay back a debt that can never be paid. I can pay the interest on it, but the principal I just can't pay down because it's just too great. So I do what I do, trying to pay a little interest on this debt that I owe to so many people who looked out for me, made an exception for me, made a way for me, gave me advice and help that I didn't even know I need. So that's why I continually do what I do. And when you owe a lot of debt, Reverend Rob, you can't get tired. You at least got to pay the interest on it.
Man, so tell us a little bit about this program, like, the Lewis Carr Foundation, the internships. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I started the foundation now 18 years ago to really sort of prove that one person could make a difference in diversity in our industry. One person. I really wanted to be an example. I wanted to sort of shame corporations, saying that if I can do it, I know what you can do. So I started this program, and I knew that it had to be paid internships because most Black kids can't work for free.
Right.
So if they got a choice of taking a job over here or taking a job at ESPN or BET or MTV or someplace like that for free, they're going to take the job at the Park District. All right.
That's right.
So if I'm trying to get people in corporate America, we got to pay them. Yep. And I decided and made the commitment, even if I had to pay them myself, I was going to do that. So we started that program some 18 years ago, and it has been amazing for them. And what the students tell me, it's been amazing for them also. Amazing for me and amazing for them. So we continue to have this program. We're trying to figure it out during COVID right now, how we'll do it. But I am committed to the Lewis Carr internship program. And then when I wrote this book called Dirty Little Secrets in the Little Black Book, every book tour stop I had, I had people, especially men, wanted to talk to me after I finished talking inside the bookstore or the venue about questions they didn't want to ask in public. So I said, clearly there's a need for men to be able to sort of come together and in a safe space and really have an opportunity to share and learn from one another. And I started the Blueprint Men Summit. Then as I looked around and I said, what am I doing with, my internship program, the Blueprint Men Summit? I've done master classes. What does that all sort of equal? It equals Waymaker, making a way for others to be successful. So we launched the Waymaker umbrella brand about a month ago. And what Waymaker is, it is a brand that we hope will motivate, educate, and inspire people to live their best life, to improve their families, their communities, and ultimately their country. Through our masterclasses, through our podcasts, through our Waymaker Journal, through our conferences, we hope that people will be inspired to continue to learn and improve themselves over and over again so that their families will be better and their communities will be better. And ultimately, we will be able to address some of the difficulties and challenges that we have in our country today.
We got questions popping up on the screen, and I think they point to kind of where we are, and they lead into a lot of what we've been discussing. I have told multiple people, like Mr. Carr has been an inspiration for me. Even when you was the very first call I made when the whole thing ended. I called you and I asked, and then we had to reschedule, and you was very accommodating. You was like, "Yeah, I got Rob," and you was the very first person I called because I was like, I need to talk to somebody about how do we move forward, right? How do we go out there and win, right? And you've been very selective on who you mentor, on where you put your time and what you do, and I don't know if it was God or something that allowed you to be in my life for so long, but I'm grateful for this full circle that God continues to bless us with. So, kind of a 2-point question here. One is, what are some of the points you've used to win along this journey, and then following that up with, do you look for those same points in people that you're looking to mentor?
Good question, Rob. Well, first of all, I think a lot of my success has been I'm coachable. And whether that was success in athletics, academics, or my professional career, I'm coachable. And I got that sort of from my mother. When I was growing up, Rob, I used to complain about teachers and professors, and she would say, I'm confused. They have a degree. You don't have one, all right? So why would I believe you over them?
Yeah.
They're trying to help you get one. What are you trying to help them do? And you kind of think like, good point.
Point taken.
So I've always wanted to be in a position where people wanted to extend their knowledge, their resources, and their help to be coachable. I look for people who are coachable. People who know everything, they don't need me. They good.
Wow.
And I usually lead them to be good. I'm like, okay, you're good.
Yeah.
Good luck. So one of the things is I look for people who are coachable. I also look for people who have a desire, a vision to want to grow.
Yep.
I think one of the most important words in someone's environment in life can be growth. On my New York office, I used to have one of them fishbowl type offices, with the glass, and it was distracting as people walk past waving all day, you waving, ain't getting nothing done because it's just like it's a fishbowl. You just waving and they waving.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had the bottom half frosted, but above the frosted petition, I had the word growth. And most people who see that thinks it only means revenue, but it means a lot more than just revenue. It means maturity. It means academics and education and overall knowledge. It means thinking beyond yourself. Make it bigger than yourself. I talk about that in my book. So we all have to be in this growth mode at whatever stage of life, whatever age, because that's the thing that's going to help you win. Because you've got to be able to grow and learn new things if you always want to consistently win. So those are the things sort of I look for in people. Are they willing to grow? Are they willing to sacrifice? And are they coachable?
Speaking of and tying all of this in, as a black man, you've gone through a lot in this United States of America. There's been
Sound
a
like you said I'm
lot
old again. I'm old again, right? Be careful with that.
of. I'm sorry, sir. Please. But you've seen a lot. You've experienced a lot. Somebody would even say you're well seasoned, and so.
You can't help yourself, can you?
And so, in all seriousness, our country has gone through a massive shift, right? And I'm not getting political, and we're going to leave that out. But I want you to just speak to the culture now that we're in, right? I mean, you are the president of media sales of the largest black network in the world. And our culture has come under attack by many, has been praised and represented by many, has been, as I would like to call, idolized by many, but then but 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 then tried to destroy by many. And so you have stood in the gap, almost as a culture warrior, trying to fight people from trying to get you to shift to put out certain messages or say certain things or do certain things that could really buck against the culture. We've had George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Black Lives Matter. All of this stuff has taken. And to me, these are not political statements. This is just culture. And so, can you talk to us a little bit about kind of where you are and how you're dealing with all of this major culture shift? MLK Day was different this year. We're in the middle of people blackity black this year.
Well, I think, first of all, let's kind of level set.
Yeah.
Most people love our culture. They just don't love the people who created the culture.
Ooh.
So they love the culture, whether it's music, whether it's fashion, whether it's beauty. They love that. They just don't love the people who created that. So let's start there. I am positive and encouraged because you think about that Memorial Day weekend of 2020, you had George Floyd and you had Central Park Karen, all right? Yep. All happened in the same 3-4 days right there.
Yep.
And what it did it woke up a sleeping giant. Young people, led by Black people, white, yellow, green, whatever color, they woke up and they realized they were not in the environment that they thought they were in. They realized that this is worse than I could have even imagined.
Wow.
And they decided to do something. So I want to say, so proud, so happy that they woke up the world. 8 minutes and 46 seconds woke up the entire world. So as we sort of look forward, we all are awake now. Is what do we do in our waking hours?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? And what I think each individual has to do is, what is your part to create change? We're on a good path because more young people voted in November of 2020 than ever before. And that's clear because they were awake. They were awake and they were realizing what truth really was. So what we have to do as we look forward is, number one, stay awake, don't sleep. Number two is, what can you do as an individual? You know, one of the things that I've been encouraging young people to do as we sort of looked at our nation's capital and the people who reside there, we need more young people in that building.
Yeah.
People just stay way, way, way too long. All right.
Yeah.
We need more young people with new ideas and new thoughts and more energy to be in that building. We need more young people who should be focused on their academics and education. I know COVID-19 has really sort of gave everybody sort of a turnover, do-over, started from the beginning. But education is still the number one way in order for people like us and people who control the culture to sort of really make an impact in our communities and in our country. That's why I serve on 2 college boards, is to sort of make sure that they understand where young people are in the world today, and be sort of an advocate and be able to help young people get education and whatever help they need. So that's why I serve on 2 college boards. But the other thing is, we have to be intentional with our actions. We've got to be very intentional. You've got to look where you can have impact. You got to look for where you can have influence. You can no longer sit back and wait for somebody to ask you. You know, it goes back to ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Ask not what your communities can do for you, but what you can do for your communities. You've got to get up and be engaged and be very intentional and excited about it. So as I look forward, I am very, very motivated and thrilled to see people who are awake and people who want change, but more important, that people realize that we need change.
Who inspires you?
Oh man, so many people. So many people inspire me. When I see young people, which I call frontline workers, marching in the streets and demanding change and raising hell in a lot of different places, they inspire me. They give me energy. There's so many people who now are engaged in change in our country, whether it is our president or our first Black female vice president. They inspire me. There's just so many people, personal friends who just what they do every single day inspires me. So I could name thousands who inspire me.
We're coming up here to the end, and And obviously it's Valentine's Day, and so I wanted to ask some fun questions, right?
Okay.
You know, we've talked about some heavy, serious stuff. You know, internships, careers, winning personalities, the heaviness of the culture, all of that stuff. You know, we've really dove into that. So we're coming up close to the end. So I just want to ask a couple of fun questions. You down?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. 34 years of marriage. Valentine's Day is coming up. Give a brother like me some advice.
Okay. Number one, don't sweat the small stuff. Don't sweat it. You know, it ain't that important. Trust me. Number two, listen. Because sometimes what's in your head is not in her head. And number three, just be committed to the long haul. It's just every day ain't gonna be Sunday, as they would say, but just be committed to the long haul. And you know, it gets easy once you make that commitment. We have a word in our household when we disagree. You know what it is?
What?
Whatever.
Whatever. Oh man. Who is what's your favorite love song?
Probably Isley Brothers, For the Love of You.
Oh, so not the Beyonce rendition?
No.
I'm trying to start some stuff there.
Yeah. Old school.
Okay. Who's your favorite artist?
Wow. I have so many favorites because you know it's different than when I grew up. I mean, you have all these different genres of music where you know, for Black folks, when I grew up, you didn't have that many. You had R&B, you had jazz, you had blues. Now you got some with so many across the scope. And Reverend Rob, a lot of them are my friends, so I'm gonna pass on that one. I'm not gonna get myself in trouble.
Do you have just a regular favorite song in general?
No, you ain't gonna take me there, right?
No? Okay.
Because I may be asking them for a favor this week, all right?
That is too funny. That is too funny. How about this? For somebody who's like, you know what, I still got a little bit of time today for Valentine's Day. Some little cool Valentine's Day, either date ideas or something like that.
Okay. Cook. It's always a winner. Clean the house. It's always being domestic is always a winner. I'm telling you, you never lose. You get points for a long time being domestic.
That is too funny. Well, hey, Mr. Carr, any final thoughts that you want to give? We've come to the end of our session, and I know you gotta get going because you know I'm on borrowed time right now,
Okay.
and so I know you got to get going. But final thoughts on
well, you know, I do want to encourage people to go to waymakerjournal.com and see all of the things that we're doing. We're trying to create this Waymaker community. And just think about this, Reverend Rob. Is one person chose one person to be a Waymaker for, how better our communities would be. Just one-on-one. We've got a lot of people who have the experience, the knowledge, and some of the resources to be a Waymaker. I'm asking people to join our Waymaker community. And don't wait. Do it now. And start to sort of pour into people like people have poured into us. Because if each of us search our mind, we will find Waymakers who did something for us that we don't even understand today. Each of us. There's not a person walking around that hasn't had a Waymaker. Join the Waymaker community.
Mr. Carr, you know me, I have a lot of love and respect for you. I thank you so much for doing this with me today, especially on a day of International Day of Love. And so I just want to say thank you for being an inspiration and a mentor of mine for the last 15 years and encouraging, pushing me through high school, through college, and even now as we continue our search. And so I thank you so much. Tell your wife I said thank you
Oh,
for.
I will. Matter of fact, I'll be speaking to the Drake University Black students tomorrow, staff and faculty, tomorrow night on
Oh,
President's Day.
I'll jump on that then.
Please,
Um,
please do.
yeah, I will. Well, Mr. Carr, love you. I'll see you soon, and thank you again for rendering us some time tonight. I'm sure you have inspired a lot of people who will and who have already started to watch this. So thank you again, sir. I'll see you soon.
All right, thank you. Take
Take
care.
care. Bye bye. Man, I don't really know what to say because it's not often that you get one of your very own living legends and inspirations to join you, especially on a day like today. I've been knowing Mr. Carr since I was in high school. He approached me in the lobby of a hotel room after I had given a speech. He approached me and he said, "Hey, what are you doing with your life? What are you getting ready to do?" And ever since then, he's been right there. Every time I call him, he's been right there, and I'm super super grateful. For those of you who have joined us and watched us, we appreciate you and thank you so much for continuing to support us. We want to bring you great content. The only way we can do that is if you make a donation to our organization today so that we can continue to bring you programs like this. So do me a favor. Go to newfrontieraction.com/donate. Make a donation today so that we can continue to push. Sign up for our newsletter so that we can keep you up to date. And just know that we're not doing this just for us. We're doing this because we believe in our community. And so we've had Shireen on today, and we've had the legend himself, Mr. Lewis Carr, president of BET Black Entertainment Television, president of BET Sales. And so I thank y'all so much for continuing to be with us every week. Some of y'all watch every single time we come on, and I can't thank you enough for that. And so on a day like today, I leave you with these simple words. I love you. Good night.